Hey friends, what's up? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you guys are having an awesome day or evening. I want to talk to you today about perfect 10 fragrances for fall and autumn. Fragrances that I think are just perfectly suited for this time of year when it starts to cool down, when the leaves start to fall, when it gets a little creepy around Halloween, and then even creepier around Thanksgiving in the US. Why? I don't know, your creepy uncle or something. Everybody's got a creepy uncle. But back on topic, we're talking perfect 10 fragrances for fall. These ones absolutely stunning this time of year. Let's jump into it. Let's check these out. And guys, if you're shopping for some niche or indie fragrances this fall, let me give you some codes. The code 10Gents at luckyscent.com will bestow you with 10% off your order. Fantastic website with all kinds of niche available on there. And then if you would choose to shop at twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com, your code is Gents10. 10% off those sites also. With that out of the way, let's kick this list off with a very, very obvious fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. It's Layton Exclusive. Technically, you might say that the original Layton is a little bit better for fall and Layton Exclusive is maybe a little bit better for winter, but that's semantics. Realistically, Layton and Layton Exclusive both are great for fall or winter. So Layton Exclusive has the Layton DNA. Obviously, it's like 90% Layton, but this one has been darkened up a little bit. It's been, some people would say, enhanced and made a little bit richer. It's gone under the scalpel and had a facelift and a tummy tuck, a few different things done to it. It has oud, gaiac wood, coffee, some animalic notes, spices. So at the end of the day, this still is that very warm, rich, spicy, sweet scent that Layton is, but Layton Exclusive, as I said, made darker and given a slight, very slight animalic twist with the introduction of civet and oud. Now, don't go running screaming for the hills just because it has those notes. It's not actually all that animalic. It still is, at the end of the day, Layton. It's made to be loved and worn by the masses. But if you do want your Layton a little bit darker, a little bit more mysterious, Layton Exclusive is for you. After that one, let's go with Gentleman Eau de Parfum Boisé. Just as easily, it could have been Gentleman Eau de Parfum or Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. So realistically, all three of those. But in this video, we're going to talk about this one. So this has cacao, pepper, sandalwood, and of course, iris. This one has a pronounced woodiness to it, though, more so than Gentleman Eau de Parfum, more so than Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. So that's what's going to set this one apart a little bit. It is maybe slightly fresher than Eau de Parfum or Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. Man, I'm getting like tongue-tied with all these Eau de Parfums and Eau de Parfum Boisés and Reserve Privés and all this stuff. But the enhanced woodiness and actually the little bit of creaminess that comes out from the sandalwood mixes together perfectly with the iris in this scent, and I think gives it great versatility during fall, even more so than the original Eau de Parfum or Reserve Privé, both of which are also fantastic. You do have to be a lover of iris, though, because the iris here is going to be really the focal point. It's what everything is built off of, and this is that more creamy style of iris that some people would say is makeup-y. Let's keep it on the iris train with Le Male et Parfum up next from Jean-Paul Gaultier. This probably is one of the most hyped designer releases of the past few years. It gets tons of love from you guys especially, but also from reviewers and people on forums, just all over the place really. And it makes sense. This has that DNA from the original Le Male, which so many people love. Classic fragrance, modern classic. You can find it in here. You have to sift through some iris, some additional warm and sweet notes and spicy notes that aren't there in the original. But once you dig through those notes, you can find it there. The vanilla in here, perfectly done. Not too powdery, just enough. So it comes across very modern, very sexy, instead of coming across like a powdery, soapy sort of blasé vanilla. Because a lot of people don't like vanilla in masculine fragrances anyway, when it starts to go too powdery, and this keeps that in check. Really well done, fantastic scent. After that one, a Creed, and it is gonna be Royal Oud. Now, when you talk Creed, typically you're talking Ventus. Talking Green Irish Tweed, which I love. I love both those. But people that know that Royal Oud is just as good as the best fragrances that Creed has ever put out. Like this stuff here, this is magic. Yeah, like this stuff just absolutely slaps. When you smell this, man, it's like catching a left hook from Mike Tyson in his prime. Maybe not actually, but you get the idea. I wouldn't want to catch that hook. So it's called Royal Oud. If you've never smelled it, you're gonna think, oh, well, it's called Royal Oud. Obviously, it's gonna have a ton of that in there. It's got this kind of black and gold going on, so it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be maybe a little bit too funky for me. No. It's really not. The oud is not even the main focal point of the fragrance. It has more cedar, has more sandalwood than it does oud. Also has a nice pink pepper note in there. It's got this good fresh spiciness right off the top. And in actuality, it's just an extremely classy, very masculine, very sophisticated, woody scent. In a way, and I'm not saying that these fragrances smell the same, but in a way, you could think of Royal Oud as like the more upper class niche take on the style of scent that Dior Homme 2020 is. Fresh to an extent, spicy, very woody, and made for versatility. Now something a little bit different. This is from Etat Libre d'Orange. It is Spice Must Flow. Now I love the look of the bottle. I think it looks very cool. Love this sticker on the side here, the coloration to the bottle. The box is actually super cool as well. And I like the name. Spice Must Flow reminds me of Dune. For those out there that are Dune fans, whether the book, the David Lynch film, or the more current release. But then when you actually look at the write-up from the house, it's not really based off Dune. How are you gonna do that? It's called Spice Must Flow. So this one has rose, has ginger, incense, and cardamom, along with some additional spicy notes in there like cinnamon. It's definitely a unisex fragrance. Ladies can pull this off just as easily as men, but it does smell drop dead gorgeous in the air. It doesn't smell as good right up close. Not that it smells bad, but coming off your skin when you catch wafts of it or other people do, it's like 10 times better. So this is one of those fragrances that's a little weird like that. You know, you smell it right up close when you spray it and you think, well, that's nice, but you know, I'm getting a lot of rose in here and maybe not quite the spice blast that I was wanting. But then in the air, it's sweeter, it's smoother, it's softer, but in a not a weak way. Like when I say that, it's just like it just wafts up and you catch just the right hit every time. It feels like you never feel overwhelmed unless you spray like 20 sprays and then that's on you. Spice Must Flow, definitely under the radar, really, really good. Then a classic, I had to throw it in. Dolce Gabbana is the one Eau de Parfum. I mean, you know, it's the one. Yeah, I've worn this a lot, a whole lot. And I know a lot of you out there have as well. One of the most popular designer fragrances of the past 2 decades plus. It's one of those fragrances that it seems like everybody has in their collection, whether it's the Eau de Parfum or the Eau de Toilette or one of the other flankers. Amber, tobacco, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon. Some of the notes in the fragrance, very warm, very spicy, great for a date, great for a night out. Really, really good at pulling positive attention, pulling compliments. For me personally, I think that the one Eau de Toilette / the one Eau de Parfum, just this fragrance, the makeup of this fragrance is one of my top 10, possibly top 5 best smelling designer fragrances ever. Just in terms of when I smell it, how good I think it smells. Like just that boiled down to that very simple way of describing the scent. It's one of my favorite of all time. I can still remember the first time I smelled the Eau de Toilette and how just blown away I was by the fragrance. I was like, holy crap. Like there is never gonna be a person that smells this when I'm wearing it that thinks it smells bad. It's just not possible. Like that's really how I felt. And then the Eau de Parfum's even better. Personal favorite time, African Leather by Memo. Cardamom, leather, saffron, cumin, and vetiver. Some of the notes in the scent here. One of the best cardamom fragrances ever. Hard stop. In my opinion, this is one of the top 5 cardamom scents that I have ever smelled. And I bring this up every time. Yes, it's African leather, that's the name. And yes, leather's in here and you can pick it up. But if you've never smelled this, you may think it's gonna be very animalic, very rough around the edges, hard to wear because you're thinking of an African sun scorching the earth. And you're thinking, man, what would a leather that's left out in the sun like that. Like, what would that smell like? Probably really animalic, rough, possibly smoky, very dark. Now, it is very spicy, but the spice is done with like kind of a designer touch. By that, I mean just super easy to wear, a little bit sweet, warm. And that's really what most of these fragrances here are doing. You know, they're warm, they're sweet, they're appealing, they're versatile, they're easy to pull off. African leather is all those things. As it dries down, you do get more of a woodiness from the vetiver. It's like a dry, woody vetiver. The leather does come out a little bit, and you smell that more as it heads through the mid into the dry down. But it's a really wearable leather, very approachable. Another personal favorite, Hugo Boss the Scent Private Accord, my favorite of the entire line. It's got coffee, cacao, vanilla, maninka, and ginger as some of the notes in the fragrance. It is sweet, but with a dusty, exotic tinge because of that maninka fruit. The coffee plays in perfectly. It's not super pronounced, the coffee note in here, but it's enough that you get a little kick of it. You know, it's adding a little intrigue, a little nuance. Gets a little bit woody as it dries down, nice and sweet, but with a different take on that sweetness. Now, one of my favorite cheapy buys, period, Wanted by Night from Azzaro. The most wanted, getting all the love recently because of the compliment factor that it has, and I understand. I mean, the most wanted is just crushing it as far as pulling positive attention goes. And, you know, it's got that kind of very popular vibe right now, that gourmandy, sweet, toffee, caramel, chestnut, hazelnut kind of thing that you see in so many fragrances. The most wanted, both the original and the Parfum, they have that going on. But I really do love Wanted by Night, even if it doesn't have that modern gourmand, sticky, sweet kind of vibe to it. Now, it's not that it's devoid of sweetness. It's got some fruity sweetness in there. It's got incense, it's got vanilla, but it also has an abundance of spice, including cinnamon and cumin, as well as tobacco leaf in here. I actually find this to be very unique smelling amongst designer fragrances. The quality is amazing for the price, because sometimes you can get this at discounters around $30, and that is an absolute steal. And the performance with this also is really good. So if you're looking for a fall time fragrance that's gonna set you apart, that's gonna get you noticed, that's not gonna cost all that much money, check this stuff out. Now, last but not least, we're gonna go with this one, Stronger With You. This is from Emporio Armani, and this is the original Stronger With You. Now, some of you would say, nah man, Stronger With You, absolutely. Or Stronger With You intensely, or maybe even Stronger With You oud or leather. Those are the ones that you should talk about. But I want to give a little love to the original Stronger With You, because basically I never ever talk about the original. And that is because I like personally absolutely more. I like intensely more. I like oud more. I like leather more. I'm kind of not making a good case for Stronger With You here. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is, yes, I don't talk about it that much, but because this bad boy right here, Stronger With You, this fragrance has had almost an Invictus-like influence, I feel like, on men's fragrances. Because when this came out, you didn't have the proliferation of fragrances like you do today that people will say, oh, you know, it smells a little bit like Stronger With You if you change this and did this, or it smells like if you took Stronger With You and mixed it with that. So this one right here, with the chestnut accord that it has, that glazed sweet chestnut, it has really, in my opinion, changed up a lot of things. Some people are gonna say, all the better, like awesome, thank you so much, Stronger With You, I love these fragrances right now. And other people will be like, nah man, I hate you, Stronger With You, why'd you do that? You got the Most Wanted, you got Scandal, you got the Stronger With You line, you got a whole mess load of other fragrances out there that smell a bit similar to this bad boy right here. So it has that chestnut, it has spices in here, it's got vanilla, it's actually got a pineapple note, I think, a little different take on an opening there. But even if you're not a massive fan of what's going on fragrance wise and how it ties into this scent, I think you got to give it up to Stronger With You, because people love this. They love this type of scent. And this right here in fall time will crush it for you. Really good performance, not as good as Intensely, not as good as absolutely performance-wise, but sometimes that's actually a positive because it can give you more versatility, because instead of aggressively choking people out, you can wear this in more casual situations or situations where you kind of want to rein in how much you're projecting while still having really good performance. So there we go, 10 perfect 10 fragrances that are absolutely awesome for autumn. We got niche, we got designer, a little bit of everything for everybody. Thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there, please, and I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.